Hello students, this is my first video for class 8 computer science. Today we will see chapter 1, that is operating system and graphical user interface, GUI, role and functions. In this chapter, I will tell you about operating system and their role and functions. I hope you are keeping well at home in this lockdown period, and you must have got the study material set 1. So in order to understand what I am going to explain, I would ask you to take out your books and I will explain those important topics of this chapter. You can take out the page number 2. What is an operating system? So basically, an operating system in a computer acts like a manager in a company for smooth functioning of a computer system. Like computer is a system which is made up of a number of things like hardware, software. If you take an example, for this example, school is also a system which is composed of number of components. Like you have got accounts department, we have got teachers, parents, students, building, so many things are there. And there is somebody who is responsible for smooth running of the whole school as a system, is a principal. So he is overall in charge, or the manager, for the smooth functioning of the whole school. So when you come to define what is an operating system, it is an integrated set of programs that manages various resources and the overall operations of a computer system, and it's specially designed to support the various activities of the computer system in a systematic way. So there are a number of components, there are a number of resources in a computer system. So for proper coordination, smooth functioning of the whole computer system, an operating system is needed. Page number 3, now we have functions of an operating system. The important functions of an operating system are mainly 6 points given here. Number 1 is booting the computer. Booting means the startup procedure of a computer system. Once you switch on the computer, it gets ready for you to work and to help you out to understand number of things. Number 2, loading the program in the memory. Whatever the programs you need to execute has to be first loaded in the memory. Number 3, managing resources. It coordinates between the hardware and software in the computer system. And all the resources, like we have got input and output devices like printer, mouse, keyboard. Are they properly connected? Are they working properly? So it checks those and makes maximum use of those resources. Number 4, detecting and correcting errors. In case there are some errors in the functioning of the whole system, the operating system is responsible for communicating this to the user to find out the errors and correct them, and to display those errors to the user so that they can correct. Number 5, ensuring data security. For protecting the important or valuable data into the computer system, it has a responsibility to keep the data secure and protected. Number 6, maintaining the internal clock of the system. There is an internal clock in the computer system. Even if the computer is shut down, it keeps on working and it updates us about the system clock or the time. Next point, we have modes of operating system. Modes of operating system means how the computer system is used or operated in different modes. In this we have got mainly 3 types of modes of operating system. One is your batch processing, then we have multi-programming and multi-processing. In batch processing, which is one of the oldest methods of data processing, earlier what happened, CPU was very fast compared to the input and output devices. So compared to input and output devices, CPU was very fast in operation. So input devices, for example, long back when there were no keyboards, punch cards were used. So each and every program was punched using holes in punch cards, and they were kept ready in batches, and they were fed into a machine called card reader, and when the card reader was able to read the cards, they were kept in batches and then they were fed into the computer for execution. So in batch processing, the system followed was first come, first serve. And in this system, the jobs were scheduled in order of their arrival. So as I said, first come, first serve. So the first job which was in queue was to be executed first, and then after the next. Now in this mode or in this type of operating system, the CPU time and memory were underutilized and it was very time consuming. Then we had multi-programming. Actually in batch processing, what happened, there was a possibility of underutilization of the main memory. So in multi-programming, what happens, when one program is waiting for the input-output transfer, there is another program ready to utilize the CPU. So it is possible for several users to share the execution time of the CPU in a sequence. Multiprogramming is also called multitasking, in which computer handles many tasks or programs simultaneously. And whenever the processor is idle during the execution of the one process, it starts the execution of the another program. So multitasking is a combination of multiprogramming and time sharing. As you know, like a multitasker, you can do 2-3 things together. Like while talking, you can give the signal to somebody, or when you are sitting, you are controlling yourself as well as you are talking to somebody. So in the computer also, when you are performing 2-3 tasks at the same time, it is called multitasking. Now this is in this multitasking, there are 2 different ways in which this technique is followed. One is time sharing another is real-time processing. In this time sharing mode, what happens? The CPU time is divided into equal time slots. You can see the page number 6. In time sharing modes, what happens? The CPU time is divided into equal time slots. For example, say 5 seconds. So, if the process is not completed in 5 seconds, and if it requires 1 extra second, then it will be executed in the next execution cycle, but the time slot will not be extended. So, and these slots are assigned to all the users connected to the system. So the user can use the system only for the specified time slot. For example, we have got computerized railway ticket reservation system. What happens? Every user is provided with a monitor and a keyboard, and a powerful server which stores the important data is located somewhere else. So in this, what happens? There is a concept of networking where there is one CPU and many users. Second way in which the multitasking is used is your real-time processing. In this, what happens? For example, say air traffic control system. What happens in that air traffic control system? The computer which is used has to update the information very quickly without delay. If there is any delay of say 2 seconds in giving the order or command or signal to the crew members, there may be crash landing. For example, another example, chemical plant. There are a number of reactions taking place in a power plant. So the computer which controls these reactions, if the amount of chemicals are not in proper proportion, it may result into an accident or an explosion. So in real-time processing, what happens? You have to give the response immediately without any delay. That means updating of the file has to be done immediately. Once the reservation is done, number of seats has to be updated. How many seats are available? Then only the next user can book the ticket. Then the third type of processing or modes of processing is your multiprocessing. In this, what happens? There are number of CPUs. Is a kind of networking use where there are number of CPUs and number of users. And in this process, instructions from different and independent programs or tasks can be processed at the same instance of time by different CPUs or different users. Now, how do we classify the operating system? We classify them into two categories. One is your single user operating system and another is single user multitasking. In single user, single task means there is only one user of the computer and there is only one task which is performed at one time. For example, MS-DOS, disk operating system, is an example of single user, single task. Only one user can work at one time and can perform only one task. In single user multitasking, it is possible for a user to do number of action, number of performances, number of action it can take, Like while you are writing a letter, at the same time you can browse the internet, and at the same time you can print some letter using the printer. So there is only one user, but many tasks are being performed. So this type of operating system is single user multitasking operating system. Then we come to the important term, page number 9, interface, user interface. What that interface means, it refers to as a linkage. A user needs to be linked with the computer to perform any task. Take for an example, a door or a gate. What happens? There is a door, so people can come in and go out. So there is a communication or interaction between the person who is outside or the people who are inside. Some other example, there are many machines, there are some buttons, so that you can press them and operate. You can use that machine to switch it on, switch it off. For example, in a washing machine, you have different buttons to go for washing, spinning, draining, and like that. Then there are two types of user interfaces, means the way computer can be used by the users. One is CUI, that is command user interface. Another is graphic user interface. Command user interface, or also called character user interface. This interface was used earlier when we had a Microsoft Disk operating system, and you had to type all the commands using the keyboard. For every operation you had to mark up the commands, instructions, and you needed to type them properly. If there is any mistake in typing or giving wrong command, then you may not be able to perform. So you have to learn a lot the commands, orders, instructions to work in this operating system. Another one is the graphic user interface, and the best example in this graphic user interface is your Windows. Then we come to the term called booting. Booting is a process by which the computer gets started. There are two types of booting. One is cold booting and another is warm booting. In cold booting, what happens when you switch on the computer, it gets turned on and gets ready for you to work. That's your cold booting. So by pressing start button, you get the computer ready. Warm booting, what happens while working, sometimes in between it gets hung or stops working, then you need to restart the computer. So when you restart, there is a button, restart button, or you can use Alt, Control and Shift. Control, Alt and Delete key. These three keys, if you press simultaneously, then it will restart. That's called warm booting. So both these are the different two kinds of booting. In graphical user interface, we have a Windows. You must be aware of this operating system. You must have worked also. There are some important features of this operating system called Windows. It provides a user-friendly environment, as every job can be done by clicking or selecting the icons. So it's very, very user-friendly. It supports multimedia system. You can work on number of things. It's comparatively faster compared to disk operating system, MS-DOS. It is multitasking operating system, and it also supports MS-DOS. Now I will show you some important components of Windows on page number 14. So I will show you here on on the computer screen. So that you can understand all the different components. Now what you see here is the desktop, and here at the bottom what you see is called taskbar, which contains this important button, this start button. Then here are all these icons and a system tray. Now there are some icons. These icons like control panel, my computer, recycle bin, these are called system icons. Now these are application icons, like you have got free video cutter, handbrake, zoom. These are all application icons. Here also these are all application icons. And here these are document icons. This is an Excel document, and this is a MS Word document. So there are these three types of icons we have seen: system icons, application icons, and document icons. Now when we open any application, I will show you what are the different type of windows. Now suppose we open this MS Word. So when we open and we get the first screen, we call it as the application icon. Whenever you open any application icon, now suppose you open this MS Excel. So this window which you get is called application window, and there can be many windows open at the same time. Okay, so the window which is active now, there can be many windows open, but at a time there will be only one window active, so that is an active window. And then there is a dialog window. Suppose we click here, for example, close, and we get one window here. This is called a dialog window. Okay, so what we have seen: application window, then active window, and this is your dialog window. Okay, these are all important components of Windows. So I hope you have understood today's important topics. So you study the study material which you have taken from the website, and learn them nicely, and see you in the next video. Till then, take care. God bless you.